Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to put SEEDANCE 2.0 through its paces, see what it's capable of, and even compare it to the legendary Kling 3.0, its main competitor, as of today. I'll also show in this video how you can use yourself or any other person as the main character in SEEDANCE Generations, and in my opinion, it's the simplest, easiest, and coolest way. At the same time, I'll show you the method for writing prompts for SEEDANCE. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a like under this video, my friends, so you don't miss out on this kind of content. Now, let's get started and I'll show you everything. Of course, I'll be using Syntx naturally because it has all the tools, including the SEEDANCE and Kling models. And anything you need, everything, absolutely everything is here. If anything, feel free to check out this website as well. Here's the link, scan this QR code. It's a special link just for our community. Syntx has prepared various perks for our people, so be sure to use this QR code to sign up. It literally takes just a couple of seconds and then you can get started in the video section. Right here at the top, you can choose any model, and most importantly, yes, what interests us most today is exactly the seed. Here, different versions of their model are presented. The most important one is 2.0, the very legendary one that's causing all the buzz, so let's select it next. I want to note right away that all the videos we'll be watching today were made in Pro mode. In my opinion, the fast mode is significantly worse in terms of quality and execution, so I wouldn't recommend using the fast version. So the Pro version is exactly the one that creates masterpieces. Okay, and from here, everything is very simple. We select the aspect ratio, choose the duration of our video, write a prompt, and get some results. And what exactly those results are, we will see together right now. So I will sequentially demonstrate what I did in SEEDANCE 2.0 and in Kling 3.0, comparing them, different tasks, different purposes. We will now look at all of this together step by step. So the first video, I wanted to make an advertisement for my course and wrote a prompt like, a cityscape, suddenly a large shadow covers the city, people look up in surprise, and in the middle of the city, a huge box with my course inside. Well, yes, I get it, the idea is so-so, but let's see what it came up with in response. And right away we see some problems. First of all, I don't like how the shadow is cast over the city here. It seems like everything should look nice, but the shadow just looks pasted on like some dark blotch, and you can see it under the box. Right here, there's this thing left over. I don't know why it did that. It's just like it took it from a white background. And instead of removing this thing under the box, for some reason it left it there. Otherwise, overall, the quality is fine. Of course, the faces look good, the facial expressions, and all the details look good. But still, in my opinion, it didn't manage to do the job, even though the task was very simple. Using a box couldn't be any easier, but for some reason, in this particular case, it didn't perform very well. Nevertheless, SEEDANCE 20 still managed to surprise me. In this video, you'll see how buoys. Let's move on to the next task it was assigned to complete. A video where astronauts are preparing for launch, boarding the spacecraft, flying to the moon, which is very relevant right now, landing on the moon, and there, a surprise awaits them. Now let's see together what kind of surprise it is. And by the way, I actually compared the SEEDANCE 2.0 model and Kling 3.0 here. Now we'll look at the result from SEEDANCE 2.0 and then from Kling. Let's take a look. Everything is the same. The same prompt, I didn't change anything. Let's see how these two giants handled the exact same prompt. Okay, let's look at the SEEDANCE version. Here's the code it produced. Honestly, the quality is just outstanding. Look at this, it's pure cinematography. Really cool. Here, the faces and the characters themselves, for some reason, seemed unnatural to me. Unlike the rest of the video. Even the code at the end looks supernatural. Just look at how amazing the quality is and how well everything turned out. It did a great job. But the movement of people in this shot seemed a bit weak to me. Other than that, it's just gorgeous. Let's see how this same task was handled by Kling 3.0. It would seem to be a serious competitor for SEEDANCE. The result really surprised me. The spaceship took off without the astronauts. And the code at the end is just a super disgusting result. Sorry for the expression, but it's really bad. If you break it down by details, everything here is bad. First of all, the sound is terrible. It did an absolutely awful job with the audio, even though Kling itself, I respect it and consider it a very serious model for video generation, but in this particular case, it did such a poor job that I was just sitting there with my mouth open. Looking at this terrible result, everything here is bad. The costumes, absolutely no consistency. They're like something out of some old game. Secondly, the spaceship took off without any astronauts. Where the heck did it fly off to without astronauts? It's unclear. Thirdly, some other shuttle is landing here already. Well, you could assume, okay, maybe that's a piece of the rocket, separated from some launch section. Here, the faces are at least somewhat better. Although when the camera moves, we can see how the textures are really crawling. It's not like they're loading, it's more like they're just blurring, but the cat looks fine. Overall, the cat here is amusing, but the quality, of course, leaves much to be desired. It seemed very, very raw to me, I have to say, in its defense. Of course, I can say that Kling is good for generating video from keyframes, meaning when we upload some cool, awesome keyframe into it, and it creates a video from that. That's when it works well. But when you use it in its pure form, relying on just a single prompt, the result is, of course, very, very weak. Let's take a look further. Here, the task was to create a flying bee in the style of an FPV drone. Right now, those kinds of videos are trendy, where the camera moves through the whole scene like an FPV drone. In addition, the task here was to do all of this in the style of Minecraft, a robotic bee. Let's see how SEEDANCE 2.0 handled it. The quality is absolutely incredible and high quality. There's even some really impressive and catchy background music. Look over there, there goes a little dog running by. Very nice, good quality, really amazing textures. Nothing is blurry even though the speed is quite high. There's a lot of movement and animation in the frame, but still everything is consistent. All the textures are in place, nothing is drifting. It's just a phenomenal result, in my opinion. If we're talking about the quality of execution, this was also done with a single prompt. That is, without any keyframes. I think, friends, with keyframes, of course, the result would be even cooler. And if we generated something beautiful in Nano Banana or in Midjourney, that would be a whole other level of masterpiece. Let's take a look at a video made with the exact same prompt, but using Kling 3.0. And that's it. After that, it just flies straight ahead, which isn't very interesting to watch. But worst of all, what really bothers me personally are the blurry, absolutely terrible, low-quality textures. We'll see, of course, maybe they'll surprise us with the next model, but for now it's lagging far behind Syntx 20. Next, friends, we have a scene in the Marvel style, a superhero action scene. Two superheroes or robots fighting in a shopping mall. Let's take a look. Here's the result, made with Syntx. The quality is awesome, really cool. The dynamics, the scenes, the movement, the camera, everything is good. The characters themselves seemed a bit boring to me, red, blue, just kind of ordinary. So next we'll make them more diverse. But for now, let's look at the same prompt, only generated with Kling 3.0. And again, the textures are really messed up here overall. At the end of his flight, this superhero turned into some kind of mush, something incomprehensible. Here too, it's just some kind of unclear mess. The textures are extremely blurred, it's hard to look at. Honestly, when it's just blur, blur, blur textures, just pixelation, that's bad. Next, I decided to mix things up with my own characters, meaning we're raising the stakes, the same scene, the same prompt. A shopping mall, two superheroes are fighting. But this time, I uploaded my own superheroes, meaning I generated them in Midjourney. By the way, these guys, these superheroes, I created them in my course dedicated to Midjourney, Super Midjourney. So I uploaded them into the prompt. Don't mind the fact that for some reason the image is duplicated here. Something must have glitched. No, actually everything is fine here. Both the first and second characters are loaded into our prompt. And let's see how SEEDANCE 2.0 handled this task. So I specified these two characters directly for it. Specific characters who are supposed to fight in the shopping mall. Let's take a look. The quality is awesome, right off the bat. absolutely incredible and stunning, guys. These slow motion effects, the sound, and take a close look at the dynamic fight animation. And overall, the character physics are really cool. These super effects are awesome, and the slow motion here is just great. Well, in a word, it's awesome. It might seem like I'm really hyping it up to the max, but I'm genuinely impressed. And you know what else is interesting? Look, when this character landed right here, we can actually see the exact spot where he is. Yes, right here in this part of the hall, and he broke the floor beneath him. Let's take a look. He runs off here, and the floor under him is also shattered. Right here. In this spot where he landed, he runs off to fight that guy. Fighting. And when they start moving back, returning to this place, we see that the floor is still broken there. Take note of that. This is the spot where that character landed, and here this place is still broken and damaged. This clearly shows that Syntx 20 even takes into account the varnish and all the changes in this location. Everything that happens in this location is tracked throughout the entire video, meaning it remembers all of it, the arrangement of certain objects and so on. It's phenomenal. I haven't heard any blogger mention this particular feature of Syntx anywhere. I saw it with my own eyes, noticed it, and was honestly amazed. In my opinion, it's incredible, it's awesome, and no other model does this. Let's take a look at the same task, but on Kling 1. The thing is, you can only upload your own characters on Kling 1. It seems you can't do that on Kling 3.0, you can only use keyframes. But specifically asking to add certain characters to the scene is possible through Kling 0.1. But this is also quite a new model actually. Let's see how it handled the exact same prompt. And it's just bad, friends. It looks terrible. It looks awful. Everything here it's bad. In fact, I used to really like Link, and I'm always surprised that it did such a poor job. All these examples I'm showing you today, we're making the task more complicated. We need to use a specific real person. Of course, this girl is AI generated, she's not real, but let's just imagine, let's fantasize that we need to use ourselves in the frame or a client. In general, we need to involve a specific certain person in the video in Syntx 20, and it knows how to do that. But there's a nuance. In order for it to keep the model consistent from different angles, you need to upload an image like this, where the person is shown from different angles and possibly with different facial expressions. This can be done through Banana, meaning I just uploaded a photo of a person here. Again, this can be a real person, no problem at all. Next, I asked it to create this girl in 6 different angles in a white blouse close-up from face to shoulders, and it generated 6 completely different angles for me. But with this shot, Syntx flatly refused to make a video for me. It said it doesn't want to make videos with actual real people. But I did the same thing again, just with a different shot, uploaded it to Nano Banana in the same way, and with that one, it worked. What does this tell us, friends? That with one example, it might refuse to generate a video. These are some internal rules of SEEDANCE. But making another shot or another one still might not work yet. And after a few tries, it will agree and generate the video, deciding that it's not a real person but a generative one, because with fictional AI characters, it does it without any problems. So you need it to believe that it's a generative character, not a real living person. Because it won't work with real people, don't worry, you'll succeed on your first, second or third try. So if it doesn't work with one frame, it's no big deal. Just upload a second or third one. In my case, on the second attempt, it worked perfectly. It created this kind of video for me based on this image. Here, I wouldn't say that her face actually looked similar in this frame, in my opinion. And it's funny here that she secretly goes right through the main entrance. She sneaked into the bank only to end up just leaving through the main entrance. Now let's take a look at the scene where this same girl is riding in a truck, and the truck transforms into a robot. And she's still sitting in the cab, possibly controlling this robot. Well, that's basically the prompt here. Let's take a look. And how awesome and high quality this transformation looks. The sounds, everything is in its place. And here the girl is sitting in the cab. I think it's cool. I really like this result. Look at the dynamics of the scene. Look at how spectacularly this robot transforms. You can make a video like this with yourself in the starring role. A bit later, I'll tell you how to write a prompt like this for some kind of blockbuster. Let's take a look at the scene where the girl and the young man are already in 2 trucks. 2 robots, 2 transformers in a cinematic scene. Bam, bam. Of course, it's cool, but it's unclear why they end up sitting in the same cab. Well, let's just go with it. Yeah, it was probably a mistake to have them sitting in the same cab. After all, they were driving in 2 different trucks, and it would have been better if they had stayed in them. It looks pretty good and quite impressive. Now let's talk about writing prompts. How to write an awesome prompt for... You can generate on Syntx 20 right here in Syntx. It's very convenient that right here in the text section you have all the top models. As of today, there's ChatGPT 5, Gemini, Claude, Grok. All of them actually write good prompts. But most often I use Gemini version 3 Pro. Right here, I can just dictate into the microphone what I want to see, and it's best to describe the scene and your idea in detail. You can say as much as possible, use your own words, make mistakes, even use some unclear or awkward phrases. He'll understand everything and do it well. Let me just show you as an example how I do this, and I do this already with scene descriptions. Well, just as an example. Hi, could you please generate a high-quality, truly impressive and detailed prompt for SEEDANCE 2.0? The prompt should include a cinematic, incredibly dynamic scene in the distinctive artistic style of... in the style of American superhero movies, where a woman is sitting at work in an office and sees a monster approaching outside the window under her blouse. She has a superhero costume, and she flies out the window. That's all the first scene. The second scene is where she is flying, attacking this monster, and the battle takes place. In the middle of the city, cars are flipping over, buildings are collapsing. The third scene is where she defeats the monster, stands on top of it, and gives a thumbs up. And she says, "Jack Cartel, subscribe to the channel." All of this should look like a superhero movie with awesome special effects. Break this down into about 5 shots and write this prompt in English so I can copy it. Yes, friends, be sure to specify that it should be broken down into a certain number of shots. It's better if it actually writes out each shot separately. That way SEEDANCE 2.0 will generate exactly what we need. We copy this prompt, go back to the video section, select the SEEDANCE 2.0 model, make sure to choose Pro mode and set the aspect ratio. I'll set it to the 16:9 aspect ratio so it has that professional cinematic look and feel, and I'll leave the duration at the maximum so that such a large prompt can fit into a 15-second video. Of course, you can add a photo of a specific person here, just like I showed in the previous example, but I won't add anyone here. I'm just showing how it works for demonstration purposes. Let us take a moment to see what SEEDANCE 2.0 is going to do with this prompt that Gemini was kind enough to provide for us. Let's take a look at the result. Okay, but it flew out of one window for some reason, changed direction, suddenly flew out another, then a hit somewhere in the mouth and music. It's strange, but this scene where he falls and the cars scatter really does look very epic. Just take a look at how, well, yes, it looks cool, and that neon insert with our channel's name is a nice touch, of course, friends. In some generations, there are certainly some questions that arise. Yes, there are questions, but still... out of everything available today from all the models and neural networks, this is definitely the best one out there. I will keep trying out various tests, and if you want me to post all sorts of interesting and awesome prompts for Syntx 20, be sure to hit the like button under this video here on my channel. If I see your engagement, I'll be happy to make more videos like this, Syntx, regularly, and maybe in the next video, we will focus much more on using our own personal photos or our own characters in our videos. Maybe even keyframes. We'll see in general what else can be done with SEEDANCE 2.0. The prospects and possibilities are awesome. We'll test it out and figure things out. That's it, definitely. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Telegram channel to always stay in the loop. If anything, all the links are in my channel description. Come join in, I'll be glad to have you participate. Alright, see you in the next video. Let's go.